On this edition of Saving American Energy, we take a walk into the Marcellus Shale and meet Toby Rice and the crew of EQT, the largest natural gas producer in the United States of America. Expect the unexpected, but have no fear. The elements won't stop us or Toby's crew.
Rain or shine, these patriots right here at EQT are always producing American energy.
Growing up in the energy capital of the world, Houston, Texas, I learned the value of hard work. I also learned that without the grit of Americans working every day to provide us with energy, the lights will go out. We are fighting to make sure that that never happens. I'm Wesley Hunt, and I'm running for Congress to restore, defend, and preserve American energy independence. But I can't do it alone. That's why I'm traveling the country in search of the brave, patriotic, and innovative leaders that power our lives. I want to tell their stories and change the conversation from energy transition to energy addition. Together, we're saving American energy. Our next stop on Saving American Energy is the Marcellus Shale, and Toby Rice, President and CEO of EQT, has agreed to give us the tour. Before we embark on our adventure, we head to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and learn how EQT is transforming Western Pennsylvania from Steel City to the LNG capital of the world.
My name is Toby Rice. I'm the President and CEO of EQT Corporation, America's largest natural gas producer.
EQT Corporation is the nation's largest natural gas producer. With operations in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio, they produce 2 trillion cubic feet of natural gas annually. If EQT were a country, it would be the 12th largest natural gas producer in the world. They produce the equivalent of over 1 minute of every hour of electricity consumed in the United States.
So EQT currently controls over 1.6 million acres in Appalachia, the home of the biggest gas field in the world. On top of that leasehold, we're producing over 6 BCF a day gross. That's equivalent to 1 million barrels a day of production. Employ over 700 people, have a contractor base of over 30,000 service providers. And any given day, there's about 1,500 of those service providers coming out working on one of our 60 different operations that's taking place in the field every day. One way you can look at the amount of jobs that we're creating is the number of labor hours that we create. And at EQT, it's over 7 million hours of labor are worked every year with our contractors. So divide that by 2,000, it's a pretty big number. The investments that we make in our programs and our communities is about $1.5 billion a year.
So to kind of touch on that too, what kind of community impact does kind of EQT have here in Pennsylvania? It's
been tremendous, but we're super pumped about it. And 2020 and 2021 were 2 years of the pandemic, and we were able to pay out over $1.1 billion in the form of royalties. I mean, this is massive amounts of dollars. And with these higher prices that we're experiencing in 2022, just in the first 4 months, we've paid out over $650 million in royalties to our landowners. These are real dollars that are really sustaining these communities.
Next, we'll meet some of the landowners whose lives and communities have been transformed by EQT unleashing U.S. LNG. Toby invited us for a ride along to West Virginia, where EQT held a town hall about the future of natural gas production in their backyard.
Please welcome to the stage EQT President and CEO Toby Rice.
Guys, thanks everybody for coming here tonight. Really awesome to have the opportunity to talk to everybody. One of us, you guys all know, EQT is America's largest natural gas producer. EQT has been here since 1888. We're going to be here until 2088 with the operations that we have planned. We need leaders in DC, and we've got a leader here, Wesley. He's running for Congress in Houston. I think it'd be great if you could just spend a couple minutes talking about how are you going to help us unleash U.S. LNG in Washington.
So first of all, Toby, thank you so much for having me. Thank you all so much for all you do. As you can see, this is a pretty excellent in-depth conversation that we're having about the energy crisis that we are seeing in our world today. And we have the solutions right here at our fingertips if we could just get out of our own way. and I'm running for U.S. Congress down in Houston, Texas. You know, that's oil and gas land. Down in Houston, we're kind of known as the energy capital of the world, but I was just told today that apparently you all beat us to the first oil well in this country, so congratulations on that. But
by like 40 years. It wasn't even close.
So needless to say, we have a very close relationship when it comes to oil and gas industry, when it comes to natural gas, and when it comes to these kinds of solutions. And I understand that maybe you all cannot vote for me, but when I'm in Congress, I will vote for you.
What's really amazing and really disappointing at the same time is this country. At EQT, we cannot grow production, and that's the same for the rest of the players in Appalachia, because we have run out of pipeline capacity. In Appalachia, think about this, the biggest gas field in the world is completely disconnected from adding low-cost supply to help lower prices for Americans, because we've had over 7 BCF a day of pipelines. Challenge blocks are opposed over the last 10 years, and what that means is, you know, this natural gas field we have might as well be in Russia, because we cannot connect that to the world with pipelines. So for us to be able to do more, and clearly we can do a lot more, the key to that is getting more pipeline facilities, and the potential is absolutely tremendous. In this country, we have the ability to increase production over 50 BCF a day, and we can do that and hold that flat for decades. The question is, can we get out of our own way? Can we get these pipeline infrastructure built so that we can do the great work that we do?
Expanding production capacity and the infrastructure needed to unleash U.S. LNG is critical. We have the opportunity right here at home to power our country and our allies around the world with clean U.S. natural gas. We'll see one of these production sites momentarily. But first, Toby has invited us to check out EQT's Production Control Center. It is central command for the largest natural gas production in America.
So this is our production control center. This is, and I'll introduce myself first, Jeff Gilbert. I'm the director of Production Ops Center. This is Adam Larson. He's our supervisor of this production control center.
Excellent. Thank you all. Thank you all for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And this is our 24/7 operations center. Basically, if you think about what we do as a football situation, everybody out in the field is those are our players. They're out there. This is our skybox. Okay. So this is what's watching out from the field from up above. We're making the strategy. We're making decisions that are making the right decisions for EQT. Huh. Pulling the plugs that are making the right decisions. Typically, we're producing right around 6 billion cubic feet a day. You can see each of our different capacity areas, what they're flowing on the left here. These guys have remote access into every one of our wells out there. They can see all of our capacity areas. They can see as wells go down. They can see as pads go down. When we produce gas, obviously water's that byproduct that comes with it. In EQT, to produce that 6 B of gas a day, we produce 70,000 barrels of water a day. That's more than double all but one other operator in this basin. So there's a lot of challenges that come with that. To move that, we use about 150 to 250 trucks a day to move that water. And a lot of that, of how many we're going to use, is based off where those destinations are and where our outlets are. A big thing that we're driving up here is recycle. We really push. We want to get to 100% recycle.
Where are you at now?
We're currently at 85% recycle. Just a few years ago, we were about 60% recycle.
Excellent.
And a big addition that we've made is we do a lot of water sharing up here. Okay. A few years ago, every operator operated on their own and took care of their own business. We've built a pretty good network up here where we all share. I think the good question is, how do we get from 85% to 100%? Because that's where we want to be. Right. And we're actually developing, and actually just about there, on some water infrastructure, which actually is large storage tanks with infrastructure that leads to our fracs that has enough offload capacity to take all of our water. Excellent. I expect within 2 years we'll be at 99%. and I say 99%.
That's the goal.
There's always going to be exceptions.
There's always going to be something.
There's going to be something that happens that a driver has to get home, so he has to go to it.
Understood.
But realistically, I expect us to be there within 2 years.
EQT is constantly striving to create cleaner energy, and it's more than just water recycling. Their production control center also monitors each well pad for methane leaks and other potential environmental hazards. Next, we'll gear up and get a closer look at the production in the field. But first, it's a long ride into the Appalachians, and not everything goes according to plan.
There's just no way.
There's just no way. Yeah.
We wait out the storm with Julie, VP of Production at EQT. He gives us the details on this well site and the environmental steps EQT is taking to reduce emissions.
All right, so, Julian Carrero, Vice President of Production at EQT. This is the Herald A pad. This pad was first developed in 2018, first set of wells on the southeast side of the pad.
Okay.
Then we came in, and in 2022, we added the second set of wells. That in total, this pad is now producing 200 million cubic feet a day, which is the equivalent of enough energy for 420,000 homes here in the United States.
Wow.
So the energy that you see off this pad is enough to provide energy for those number of American homes. So that gas is all coming out of the wellheads that are back here. Each of the wellheads has an ESD on it, which is an emergency shutdown valve.
Yes.
So if something happens, we need to shut the well in for emergency purposes, we can do that remotely or on site because it is both manual and hydraulic.
So by remotely, you could do it literally from the headquarters that we just came from.
That's exactly right. So the production control center, the guys and gals in the production control center could physically shut this pad in remotely from where we just saw. So it's a great benefit to us. And so on each one of these sites, each one of these different technologies that we are using for methane emissions. So pneumatic emissions is a really big effort for EQT this year. We're currently investing $25 million to come in and eliminate methane emissions from our pneumatic devices,
Excellent.
which last year was about 40% of our emissions profile. So we have two forms of technology out here. The first on these high volume units is going to be something called compressed air. So in the past, we would have used natural gas coming from our wells to provide power to open and close valves on each one of these units.
Yes.
In order for those valves to open and close, there's a small methane emissions that is related to with venting off of those valves. So what we've done is we've set an air compressor now that is now electric powered. And that air compressor is basically filling a tank with air, and now we're using that as opposed to natural gas to power all these valves. So now when those valves vent, they're just venting air as opposed to natural gas, which completely eliminates the methane emissions related with that.
With the storm behind us, we venture out to meet the well site crew and get a closer look at the technology Julian was talking about.
So this is going to be one of our high volume gas processing units. So this unit is able to move 30 million cubic feet of gas per day through this unit. Wow. So as we think about pneumatic emissions, methane emissions related to pneumatic devices, one of the things that we're doing is we're coming into all of our operations and we're replacing methane, which is flowing through the gas system, and replacing it with air in order to eliminate those emissions whenever one of these units is operating. Okay. So what that looks like is we have two pieces of equipment in here that would normally be powered by natural gas. It's going to be our dump level controller, which is this black box up here to the top right. Basically monitors level inside of this unit. When water gets to a level, it sends a trigger that it's time to take the water out of this unit and send it down to the tanks.
Okay. And that's where the water is going to go, right?
These are the water tanks, right. So all the water will go here. The water will be stored. Water gets stored in these tanks until we're ready to use it on our frac, one of our fracs on completions, or we'll send it to a recycling facility where they'll hold it until we can take that water to go be used on frac.
Excellent.
As you heard in the PCC, we use about 80% of our water here at EQT, 80 to 85%, with plans to get to 99 to 100% here within the next 2 years.
Excellent.
So that's the first. The dump valve, the controller, liquid level controller. The second piece of equipment is going to be a pneumatic dump valve, which is going to be that valve that you see right there, that red valve. Yep. So that valve is also going to be controlled by air now. So you have two valves in this unit that now are being powered by air to completely eliminate methane emissions related to these pneumatic devices. So on this pad alone, over 30 devices. In total, over 6,000 metric tons of methane emissions have been eliminated on this location with our moves to eliminate those as part of our operations. So it's a huge environmental opportunity there that we've taken full advantage of.
And that's not all the steps EQT is taking to limit their impact on the environment. Next, we meet Kenny, who operates a methane detection camera to spot leaks and stop them right in their tracks.
My name's Kenny McWhorter. I'm a maintenance tech too. I've been out here for 32 years.
32 years.
32 years.
Okay.
I've been doing the camera work for 6 years.
Okay, so what exactly do you do with that camera?
Okay, with this camera, this is a FLIR GFX 320 camera. It's an OGI camera, optical gas imaging camera. Has a lens in it that allows us to see methane, propane, butane, all of the gases we have on location.
Yes.
We use this to find the emission leaks and repair them that day. So You can also look at it as a mission as, okay, we're in the business of selling gas.
Right.
Okay, if my gas,
as much of it
if
as
my
you
gas
can.
is going in the air,
you want to
we
sell
need
it.
to seal that, put it through the meter. That's our cash register, the meter.
Yes.
If it's blowing in the air, yeah, we've got greenhouse gas,
You're losing
and we're
money.
losing money. That's the way I look
Right.
at it.
You're hurting the environment and losing money.
And losing money.
You want to prevent both.
Right. I want to keep that gas going through my meter. That's what I want.
Excellent. And so what I like about that is we're actually motivated by two things. This is still a business, and I understand that. But the good thing about it is this: being responsible with our environment is not an or conversation. We can still continue to make money, given what you do every single day to make sure that there are no leaks. You're also saving money and also benefiting our environment. I love that.
Right. It is amazing how much, even the last 10 years,
how much has changed.
And since as Toby has taken over, it's just, now with using air for pneumatics instead of gas, I mean, that's just,
it's a game changer.
Didn't think I'd ever see that,
Game changer.
So we're going to put air on everything for, to reduce emissions there too. So
fantastic.
It is.
And it's about more than just the clean and abundant energy. It's also about the career opportunities EQT is creating right here in Appalachia.
I'm Dean Lazaro, production supervisor for the Washington County area for EQT. Whenever I started in the company, did a little bit of networking, was currently at a valet attendant at the Meadows Racetrack Casino.
Wow.
Met up with some folks, gave me an opportunity to start a real career. Wasn't educated coming out of school, but whenever I started, was granted an opportunity as a production operator, and then moved forward in my career to a supervisor of operations, and currently I'm in charge of 1.5 billion MCFD for the Washington County area, so pretty big stuff.
So how long have you been here with EQT?
I've been here for 2 years, sir. 2
years?
Yes.
That's pretty fast, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good area to really look for the talent EQT provides. They're able to build and grow us and develop us throughout the internal part. I'm from Cecil, PA, so a lot of people hired very close to here and utilizing the talent at hand. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for all you do, bro.
Absolutely, sir.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Energy is everything. Energy is life. Natural gas is the foundation of 4 pillars of modern society: steel, cement, plastics, and fertilizer. Without natural gas, modern societies crumble. So we need to take our security very seriously here domestically within our borders. And fortunately, the United States has turned into a powerhouse of oil and gas, thanks to American shale, thanks to the American oil and gas producer. But to truly have our energy security, our national security, is now going to be dependent on how secure can we make the world. And I think what's going on in Russia is a really great example of the desire of how military conflict around the world will impact the United States. And the world is significantly energy short right now, which means this is most likely not going to be the only conflict that we see out of people's desire to get their energy needs. It literally is a life or death situation for countries. So what can the United States do? Use our resources and share our energy with the world. And for natural gas, we have the ability to increase our LNG exports in this country 4 times over. We're already the world leader in natural gas exports. We can increase those numbers up to over 50 BCF a day slated for exports. That is going to bring a tremendous amount of energy security to us here as Americans, because exports means surplus, and surplus means security. But that amount of security for the world is going to be absolutely significant. 50 BCF a day would double the global LNG market today. Just since the bombs dropped in Ukraine, Russia has collected over $100 billion in just the first 100 days. So this is clearly a situation that we need to provide the energy security to the world, and then that truly is going to bring national security here in the United States. The good news is we have a solution to get out of this energy crisis, and that solution simply is unleash American energy. Understand that not only are we producing the cleanest energy in the world here in the United States, but we're also going to be unleashing the biggest green initiative on the planet, the biggest energy security for this country. And oh, by the way, unleashing American energy is going to be the biggest jobs creator in the country. Unleash US LNG alone is a plan that will create over 300,000 jobs. So whether you care about the environment, whether you care about the economy, whether you care about energy security and low prices for Americans and security for our allies around the world, you should care about American energy.
The The American spirit was forged in fire. American energy independence was built from grit and innovation. EQT is producing clean natural gas, changing the lives of landowners, building up communities, and creating careers for hard-working Americans. They're ready to power our nation and our allies, and they should.
Literally, thank you for what you do. I know like this world's crazy and people like me aren't trying to really articulate what y'all do for our country, but I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Energy Addition is the only way forward. To achieve a better future, to end energy poverty around the world, and to enjoy a cleaner planet, we need U.S. LNG. When this grows, so does the world. And that's how you save American energy.